People from my generation, actors and my colleagues, I think we've seen a lot of change in the industry, in movie making, in script writing. Everything's changing. Change is constant, is the only constant, and I think if we want to grow, we need to move with the times, and I think that's something that I've understood on the way. It's fascinating now, Rudrani. It really is so fascinating now. Coming from जब 20-25 साल के थे, पेड पैपरासी कल्चर नहीं था तब, तो लिटरली इस प्रेस पीछे भागती थी, कहीं पकड़ लिया तो पकड़ लिया, and it had its own charm, But I think now it's very interactive. It's different now. It's interactive, and it's got its own charm, these days. And like I said, you have to move with the times, and I'm trying, and hopefully I'm succeeding. And yeah, I'm just very grateful to be here and sitting with you, having this conversation with you.
I think you were about 18 when you got your first ad. Am I right? Is this, or were you about 18, 19?
I was 18, that's correct.
You were about 18,
18
right?
when I did my first commercial, yes. एक दो किए थे मैंने, yes.
You actually didn't shy away from saying that मुझे पता नहीं था मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ.
Yeah.
And you were at that time already going through a lot of things that
Sure.
not many will probably go through.
Sure.
The impact of what happens to you and the childhood that you go through will kind of stay forever, and you try to heal from the traumas.
Sure, absolutely.
आपको ये सब चीज़ें पब्लिक में करनी पड़ी थी.
जी, unfortunately. बचपन से.
बचपन से. And I know that we had spoken probably a little about it more off than on camera before, but there is also the survivor's guilt for you that I think you spoke about once. Looking at the complications around you in relationships with your dad, and then you were also trying to have your own identity, and you were so adamant about it.
Sure.
I want to go there.
Life has thrown me adversities since a very young age, and I have been very grateful and blessed to overcome those adversities and adjust, adapt, and overcome, if I may. I feel like I have a guardian angel. I've always had a guardian angel, and now I have 3 because my grandparents are with my mother now, so I have 3 guardian angels. But since I've been a child, I think I've always been protected by my guardian angel. तो जो कुछ भी हुआ, complicated बचपन में या teenage years में या कहीं ना कहीं, somehow or the other, I learned to overcome. Some decisions rather were wrong. Choices were wrong, decisions were wrong. But I think I needed to go through all of that to understand my entire scenario, life scenario, if I may. And I needed the tug of war happening, constant tug of war, I think I needed it to make me a better person, and I needed it to realize the truth, if I may.
Can you exemplify the tug and pull for people who don't understand in a short way? Maybe it can be a memory or a moment that you felt was really difficult for you.
It's
can be anything.
It's complicated when I mean, listen, there's a million and millions and millions of people like me who grow up with a broken family, or without a parent, or without a mother or father. But I think the nature of the situation was a little more intense because my parents were famous people. My mother is still a legend, very much still celebrated. So it was different because it's not like ठीक है, normal middle class home है, कोई जानता नहीं है, माँ नहीं है, पिता नहीं है, ठीक है, आगे बढ़ो, life goes on. वैसा नहीं था. मेरी ज़िंदगी open book थी बचपन से, unfortunately. तो वो कांस्टेंट रिमाइंडर कि ये आपकी माँ है और ये बहुत बड़ी हस्ती थी और और आपके पिता भी हैं और दोनों फेमस लोग हैं और देन just growing up not seeing them around kind of made me hate is a strong word but it kind of made me bitter about them both, extremely bitter. So that was the tug of war कि accept करूँ नहीं करूँ, accept करूँ नहीं करूँ, किसका fault है, पिता का है, माँ का है, किसका है, ये ज़िंदगी भर चलते रहा और finally I'm at peace with everything. And I mean obviously it's this, you still heal, you still have to heal because these kind of situations, as you said, these kind of circumstances are extremely tough to overcome completely. You go through healing your entire life. But I think वही था tug of war कि एक्सेप्ट करूँ या नहीं, प्यार करूँ या नहीं, उनकी तरह बनूँ या नहीं, या फिर आइडेंटिटी बिल्कुल मुझे उनकी आइडेंटिटी मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं चाहिए, ना मैं बाप का हूँ, ना मैं माँ का हूँ, मैं खुद का हूँ, ये ज़िंदगी भर चला. But I think finally because I have now embraced my mother's name fully. I am now called Prateik Smita Patil, and it's got a very beautiful ring to it, if I may. I feel like it's a
Prateik Smita Patil.
Yes, it's got it sounds like music to my ears. I think I owed it to her. I owed it to her to embrace her wholly and solely. She gave her life for me. She deserves it. She gave her life for me. A mother gave her life for her child. The least I could do is embrace her entire name, and that's what I did. वो लोग कहते हैं कि अरे आपने बब्बर ड्रॉप किया, नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. मैंने सिर्फ स्मिता पाटिल आजमाया है, उसको मैंने embrace किया.
You have faced judgments since a very long time. So I don't unfortunately, like you said, because your life was being discussed since.
I recently found out Shabana ji and Javed Sahab wanted to adopt me after my mother passed away, and it was kind of complicated and all that.
I don't know.
I could have been Farhan's stepbrother.
Listen, but it's sweet. No way.
I find these things out, new things about me all the time, and it's quite fascinating. I'm like, yaar, aur kya hai? Batao me. It's also a bit overwhelming, if I may. बहुत overwhelming है कि यार ये भी है, अब ये पता नहीं क्या होता था, अगर ये होता तो मैं पता नहीं क्या ज़िंदगी एक many things I hear about me as a child. मेरे लिए कस्टडी की फाइट हुई थी बचपन में और मैं इतना सा मैं कर रहा था और मैं I have no idea, मुझे कुछ आइडिया नहीं क्या हो रहा है मेरे बारे में, मेरी ज़िंदगी के बारे में. But all of this happened. There was a custody battle. There was people wanted to adopt me. People, if
there are many actors, if I know, have been very protective about you also, right? The ones who
yes, all my mother's colleagues and all my mother's friends and colleagues.
I think among them there were more, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you know who they were? But I think it's so sweet. Imagine the kind of person Smita ji must have been for people to just come rally and say, we'll take care of Prateik. So maybe I want to know who they were. I knew few were there.
Very, very grateful for all the love she gets and all the goodwill she has from the industry and her colleagues and friends. Shabana ji was definitely one of them. Shabana ji, Javed Sahab, Amit ji has always, Mr. Bachchan has always been very kind and supportive. I think everybody of her time and everybody she shared a bond with, Nasir Sahab, Ratna ji, the late great Mr. Shyam Benegal, obviously. वो इरा ही अलग था यार, वो इरा ही अलग था वो. I recently I found out another thing about my life, that I was conceived on the sets of Mirch Masala.
Really? Oh my God. You know what's one of my favorite films?
It's a lovely film. I recently saw it again.
So empowering.
A lovely film. बहुत क्या बढ़िया film थी. Women empowerment. क्या scene था वो end में.
It was crazy.
है ना, मिर्ची फेंकने का क्या था वो यार. But yeah, I recently found out that she got pregnant on the sets of Mirch Masala, which I didn't know. So lots of things I'm finding out 38 years after life. आजकल होता है ना वो meme. I was today years old when I found out. तो वो काफी बार हुआ है मेरे साथ. I was today years old when I.
You mentioned Mr. Bachchan.
Yes.
And I know how grateful you felt towards him. That I remember once you had spoken about it and you said that, Abhishek feels like an elder brother to me.
Yes.
Because of the way they looked after you or they checked on you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
How was that moment? Because it felt so real when you said it, but I think Arya and others got a little upset because they said
Yes.
because of what Raji and, Mr. Bachchan had, there was a feud that continued for a long time. But I feel you were also looking for places where you could find love, right?
Yeah.
And why not?
Sure. It was very innocent for me. I was a 24-year-old,
Yeah.
23-year-old, 24-year-old kid. For me, all I was thinking was, अरे शक्ति में रमेश जी, बच्चन साहब और मेरी माँ थी और दम मारो दम में रोहन सिप्पी, अभिषेक बच्चन और मैं हूँ. That's all I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, इसको बोलते हैं next generation. इसको बोलते हैं new era.
Taking the legacy forward.
Taking the legacy forward. So I was just an innocent, and obviously I didn't know the history, and I didn't know that. Also, unfortunately, चीजें dramatize हो जाती हैं. They things like this get sensationalized and dramatized, and it's just kind of gets blown out of proportion, if I may. I think that's what happened. If it's okay, it's in the past. Let's not dwell in the past. But it's काफी चीजें हुए हैं यार. Lots of.